Man fatally shot by police in Manchester, residents angry. A man was fatally shot by the police during an alleged confrontation on Lucky Street, Knockpatrick in Manchester on Wednesday. Relatives and residents identified him only as Osa. Preliminary reports are that the incident happened about 6 p.m. at a house in the community. Police said a firearm was seized. However, residents are questioning the actions of the police, as they claim the man was not killed in a shootout. He was sleeping, but the police say a shootout. No shootout, not Nogoso, said a relative of the deceased. A child said to be the man's son, who was reported at the house when the incident took place, was whisked away from the scene by the police. Them carry him away. Him did drop down out there and a cry. The little boy don't have no mother and him father gone now, said a relative of the victim. Other residents opted not to speak to the media but also questioned the police version of the incident. Video footage reportedly of the aftermath of the incident shows police carrying the limp body of a man and tossing it into the back of a van before driving away. Meanwhile, the relatives described the victim, a farmer and a higgler, by trade as a hardworking man. 2 public sector workers charged in relation to $1 million pension fraud scheme. 2 public sector workers have been charged in relation to a $1 million pension fraud scheme. They are Administrative Assistant at the Institute of Jamaica, Dorrit Mullins, and the Life Certificate Officer at Accountant General's Department, Oran Sachet. Ms. Mullins has been charged with possession of criminal property, receiving stolen property, and conspiracy to defraud. Mr. Sachet faces charges of conspiracy to defraud and misconduct in public office. In a statement, the Financial Investigations Division (FID) said the charges follow a probe conducted jointly by the Jamaica Constabulary Financial Unit. Reports show that between May 2017 and May 2018, Mr. Sachet requested and manipulated life certificates for various pensioners whose banking information was fraudulently changed to reflect an account held by Ms. Mullins at a local credit union. This allowed 17 pension payments of just over $1 million to be funneled into Ms. Mullins' account. The funds were withdrawn shortly after each deposit. The accused were arrested in April and May of this year, then charged after being interviewed in the presence of their attorneys. Both appeared before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on May 29. The court ordered that the case disclosure must be completed by July 1. The matter is set for mention on October 6. Stop orders have been issued for both accused, and they are to surrender their travel documents. They are also both required to comply with a fingerprint order issued by the court and are to report to the police twice weekly between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. The FID said this case highlights an abuse of trust where public officers are accused of manipulating official records and exploiting pensioners to spit on fraud for personal gain. Such actions represent a serious breach of ethical and legal standards. The Revenue Protection Department (RPD) in the Finance Ministry identified abnormalities pursuant in the Proceeds of Crimes Act and shared the relevant things with the Fed. Commissioner of the RPD, Mr. Morgan, emphasized the importance of collaboration between government entities in detecting and addressing fraud.
At the RPD, one of our primary roles is to investigate, detect, and deter fraud and corruption involving government revenue. We take a multifaceted approach to protecting revenue through direct investigations, supporting other agencies, and strengthening systems to prevent abuse. This case is another demonstration of the critical importance of cross-agency collaboration in detecting and addressing fraud. It reinforces our commitment to protecting public funds and ensuring that individuals who attempt to defraud the state are held accountable. We were pleased to assist our law enforcement partners by providing timely intelligence that was key in uncovering the irregularities.
Prime Minister Holness says Jamaica must improve the resilience of its utilities. With the 2025 hurricane season underway, Prime Minister Dr Andrew Holness says Jamaica must improve the resilience of its utilities. While noting the progress made in responding to natural disasters, he said there were gaps. Following Berry last year, a Disaster Risk Management Review Committee was established, which assessed the country's disaster preparedness and response efforts in a bid to strengthen them. Speaking at the National Disaster Committee meeting, Dr. Holness highlighted the areas of concern with utility companies, while noting that work has begun to address some of the issues. Regarding the National Water Commission (NWC), he said the company has to develop independent power sources. On the issue of housing, Dr. Holness said the authorities must reinforce the building codes and use the hurricane straps to secure roofs.
The JPS must undertake a comprehensive review of its distribution network and replace those compromised and broken poles, and as quickly as possible replace those that are needed to be replaced with concrete poles. Now, I know that they have started that work. There is a budget, a capital allocation for that, and that work must proceed right throughout the year with great speed and alacrity, so that, God forbid that there is any other disaster to come, that we are not without electricity in those areas for any extended period of time. And I know that the JPS is addressing that, but we must say it publicly, and we must hold them to account for it, to move very swiftly in ensuring that the distribution network is resilient and resistant to these weather events. Except for gravity-fed systems, once the electricity is out, then the entire country would be out of water. So the NWC has to develop independent power sources. It has to have its own backup strategy, its own backup capability. And so the government has started work towards ensuring that the critical areas for supply and distribution, that those pumping stations will have backup generators. That's a long-term objective, but we're going to ensure that we at least have some short-term capabilities. And it is a two-pronged strategy. One strategy is to solarize some of the pumping stations that we have so that we have independent power. And the other strategy is to introduce generators that can carry the pumps for a reasonable period of time should there be a failure in the electricity utility. And we have started that. We noticed that flying over the areas that were impacted by the recent Hurricane Beryl, and just looking at some of the roofs, and then when we went on the ground and examined, it was clear. Those roofs that did not use hurricane straps, those were the roofs that were destroyed. It was crystal clear. So it appears to me, and indeed coming out of the report, that the parish councils, the approval entities, and the Ministry of Local Government, through a national public campaign, must reinforce the building codes as it relates to roofs and the need to build according to code and use, in particular, hurricane straps to secure our roofs. But roofs were not the only areas of housing that were damaged. Many persons suffered water intrusion because of the kinds of windows that they used. And so there may have to be some guidance on that as to how to secure your windows during hurricanes and the types of windows to use to secure your homes during hurricanes.
PNP caretaker for Manchester Central promises porous link to highway. People's National Party (PNP) aspirant for Manchester Central, Mandeville Mayor Donovan Mitchell, has promised that if he is elected the next Member of Parliament for the constituency and the party is given the nod to form government, party will be given to connect ports directly to the Maypen to Williamsfield Highway. Mitchell pointed to the recent interchange built out at Freetown in Clarendon, linking the area to the East-West Highway as an example of what can be done to connect the town of Ports to the highway. Comrade Richard Azan is the opposition spokesperson on road, and he promised me that, like how they do out by Freetown, that we are going to make sure that we connect Ports to the highway so that people at Ports can come off the highway and come into Ports because you deserve the best. Ports is for us, Mitchell told PNP supporters at the Belfield Division Conference on Sunday night. The Maypen to Williamsfield leg of the Southern Coastal Highway Imposed project includes approximately 23 kilometers of 4-lane divided highway with a new alignment and approximately 5 kilometers of the existing Melrose Hill bypass, now a 4-lane rural driven highway. It was opened in September 2023 but remains toll-free. Motorists traveling westbound from Kingston towards Mandeville can exit the highway at Tollgate to get to Clarendon Park and then continue to Porus, but residents and business people have argued that option is not convenient. In addition to access the highway, Mitchell promised major infrastructure development in Porus, Belfield, and adjoining communities. Everybody knows I love Porus. I love Porus like how Jesus loved the little children, and when I go down to Porus and I see the community center, there how it is run down and look bad, we are going to fix it up. We're going to bring it to the prestige thing because it is a Norman Manor community center and he is from Manchester and we should make him proud, he stated. Mitchell also announced the plan to turn Porus into a storage hub for business. We are going to build some storage facilities and business people can put their things in storage and move it into other parts of Manchester, he noted. The PNP caretaker then turned his attention to housing development and revealed that opposition leader and PNP President Mark Golding has promised to prioritize 2 new housing developments in Manchester Central should the party regain the constituency and government. I look at the land in content and I look at the lands between Blue Mountain and Top Coffee Grove, and we have acres of land. And Marky G promised deliver Central Manchester to him, and we will build two housing developments in this constituency so that the people of Central Manchester can live a good and proper life, stated Mitchell. In Belfield, a traditional stronghold of the PNP, Mitchell promised to move Belfield High off the shift system. They promised us that they will take Belfield High off the shift system, and up until now, they have not done anything. It is my commitment to you in Belfield, because when I see the children have to wake up early in the morning, coming from all the way in Clarendon, and when I see children have to come out so early at 5:30 in the morning to reach school by 7 o'clock, my stomach turns, and I promise that when I win, we're going to take Belfield High School off the shift system so that your children can come to school and go home to their parents, he stated. He also announced plans to turn Belfield into a town. When I talk to the business people in Belfield Square, they say Belfield needs a facelift. The shops need to be fixed up, and we're going to make Belfield into a new town so that when you come up here, you don't want to leave Belfield because Belfield is a nice place to live, he stated. But Mitchell was as fervent in discussing plans for piped water in the constituency. I'm not promising Central Manchester no pipe water. We are to repair those tanks. We are going to fill them with water. We're going to pipe them to the people's houses and make them here come and have water until the research is complete, he noted. We are doing this study, and you can trust my word. We're going to make it happen. Just wait a little longer, added Mitchell. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.